Hey guys, it's Matt, and today I want to show you how you can change a fuel filter that sits inside the fuel tank on your Subaru. This vehicle is a 2004 Subaru Outback LL Bean Edition with a 6-cylinder engine. And on most Subarus around right here, you would find a fuel filter. But in the year 2004, I believe that was changed. And the fuel filter now resides in this panel with the fuel pump, which is found underneath the rear seats. All you're going to need is a 8mm socket and wrench, a Phillips head screwdriver, and probably some pliers. So step one is to actually depressurize the fuel system, and you can do that simply by removing this coin tray right here on the driver's side by the steering wheel. You can see on the back of it there's a chart, and it says 15A up here is the fuel pump. So you're going to want to pull that fuse, and that'll be the one right up there, that blue 15 amp fuse at the very top left. You're probably going to need to use the little fuse tool, which can be found under here in the fuse relay box, this little white guy. You just use those two little hooks on the end there to grab the fuse. Pull it out and put it somewhere safe. Now you're actually just going to try and start the car once or twice, and it won't start, but that's what you want. It'll depressurize the fuel system. And then you can do that again. And the fuel system should be fully depressurized now. Next step, you want to disconnect the negative terminal on your battery. For me, I have to use a 11mm socket. So this is the filter that you're going to be putting into the car. This is the filter right here, and its little metal cap that comes along with it. This is the parts number for it, 42072AE00A. And this is a O-ring gasket that will accompany it on the fuel filter, part number 42025AE020. Okay, now that the fuel system is depressurized and the negative battery terminal is disconnected, we can get to the meat and potatoes of the operation. All you're going to need to do is lift up these back seats. You're going to need to pull this lever up here. It'll probably be somewhere in here. You're probably going to need to fish it out. Once you have it, just pull it up. And you're going to want to get to this cap right here. Usually there'll be a bunch of padding right here, but I took it out a while ago. You just need to move that and access this panel with the 4 Phillips head screws. And there's also this black clip right here, but I just pulled it out. It was pretty tough. I had to use pliers. It just gives you better access to this. So now all you have to do is unscrew these Phillips head screws one by one. There's only 4 of them. It's really simple to get this guy off. Make sure you keep those screws somewhere safe. And then you got to get those ones. And with those screws off, this just comes right off. This little black gasket on here might stick to this, but that's fine. Just take it off carefully. So now that you got the top of your fuel pump exposed, you actually just need to disconnect this right here, this plug. There's a little clip right here that you just push in and it comes right off. And now you need to disconnect these tubes. All 3 of them. You just got to push in these white clips right here and then pull the tube off. Okay, now I got all the hoses disconnected. I pressed this clip in by wedging a screwdriver in and then pressing the other side with my finger and pulling it off. That can be a little tricky. It's kind of tight in here. I should also mention, pretty much no matter what, you're going to spill some gas during this process when you disconnect these hoses. Just have rags nearby. But now all we have to do is take these hex bolts with your 8mm socket and just start undoing them all the way around. This will probably take a minute. There's an arm that faces this way, and there's a bag that faces that way. So you're going to need to maneuver this out kind of carefully as to not damage either part. So we can just grab it and try to get it out. I imagine this will be pretty difficult. Okay, now we have the fuel pump out of the car. Sorry I didn't get any good footage of it. It was too difficult to do while recording it. Just be careful of this arm in this bag when you're taking it out, and be careful of this too. This comes off. It unclips from that. I'm not going to do it. It unclips from that, and it fell into the tank for me. I had to fish it out. That wasn't very fun, but I did it. And this is the fuel filter that we'll be replacing. So first off, you're going to want to disconnect this clip right here on the fuel filter. Just jiggle it off of there. There you go. And now we can just screw the filter right off, just like that. Oh, there you go. Oh, more gas than I was expecting. Yeah, that's why you have rags around. That's the old O-ring gasket. And this is the old filter. Definitely in need of replacing. That's pretty yucky. Now I'm going to try to clean this up real quick. So, just comparing these two fuel filters, this is the old one, the new one. The old one has this O-ring on it. This did not come with that O-ring, so you're going to need to reuse that. So just take that off, and we'll put that on in a second. And also, inside the old one, this is where the O-ring went that we got a replacement for. So you're going to need to make sure you reuse that if you didn't get a replacement O-ring, and put it right in there. Right, so you just put this O-ring on right here. Yep, just sit it in the groove like that. Now we're ready to start putting this back together. I find it easier to put this guy in first. Just place him around that ring, seat him in there. Feels snug. Now you can put the cap on with ease. Now you can put the O-ring here if you want. That might make it easier to screw this cap on. When you're putting on the cap, you just want to make sure that this little prong right here, when you screw it on, it's oriented so that this can go onto that little prong. And now that the cap is on, just make sure that it's flush all the way around. It's not coming off anywhere. And then you can connect this guy to that prong right there, just like this. And now while the pump is out, I'm going to take the opportunity to clean it. You might want to do this too. It's just up to you. Okay, now we're ready to put the fuel pump back. You just got to remember the orientation. This little plug will be facing you. When you put it in here, those little hose connectors will be facing the right. The arm will be facing away from you, and this will be facing to the left. Just got to place it in carefully. Make sure that this black gasket right here is lined up with the fuel pump correctly on all these holes. That's where the 8mm bolts went. These hoses will probably get in the way. Just do your best not to get them stuck down in there. Just gotta maneuver that down. Okay, now we got the fuel pump in here. We just gotta line it up with these rubber prongs right there by my thumb and right there by my pointer finger. Just lift it up and the prongs will fit through those holes right there. They're stuck up, you see? Push it on snug. Now we just gotta put this metal ring on. You just gotta lift up the hoses and get it under. Okay, the metal gasket's on, just like that. It has those little holes for the rubber prongs too. Just line it up. Alright, just snug up those 8mm bolts, put them on all the way around. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just going to jump ahead. So now we just replace these hoses where they go. You can see they all line up pretty much where they should be, so it shouldn't be that confusing. Push them on until you hear a click. Right there. Let's do it with the other two. number 2. That one, you gotta kind of push in there. All right, and that's click number 3. So then we just replace this wire right here. Should just clip right in. Yep, little click. All right, now that everything's secure, everything's all snug, I'm just gonna leave this cover off for now while we start the car so we can check for any leaks. Before we start the car though, we gotta put this fuse back in and also reconnect the negative terminal. Let's just go under here. You can see in that empty spot in top left, just push them in. Yep, he's in there. Then you can put your little tool back where you found it. Right. Now you can reconnect the negative terminal of your battery. Just put it on there and tighten it. Okay, now before you start the car, you're going to want to prime the fuel system. All that requires you to do is to put the key in and then put it to on, and don't start it, just to on. And do that a few times. You can probably hear it. And while you're priming it, you can check back here for any leaks. Doesn't seem to be any though. Alright, now you can start the car. Now that the fuel system's primed, here it goes. Starts up. Okay, now everything's fine. So we can just take this panel right here and put it back on. And that's lined up, and you can put those Phillips head screws right in all 4 corners again. Now, just got to replace this clip from the middle here, if you took that off to give you more access. If the rug came up right here, just try and shove that back in like that. We can just fold these back seats down, and that's it. Okay, that's all we needed to do. We successfully replaced the fuel filter in the tank of the Subaru Outback 2004 LB edition. Good luck. Thank you for watching my video. Peace out.